Today we're going to talk about pacing and the character expressions. So first things, you can page in landscape. You center your text. You found that fits for you. And you go to line. Go to line helps you to get the rhythm and helps you with the pacing. As you can see in that example, I also split the text in different parts, like introduction, main part, and conclusion, and signature. Because those parts are different part of same text, and as a scriptwriter, it's very interesting to process. Text is built to express meaning, so a different part have to be treated and work with different intention. So as I say, to break down the text, it brings clarity, it increases the understanding, and it will separate the element. As I said, intro, text, and conclusion are different parts of the work. I encourage you to read aloud, outside the booth and in, because when you read aloud, it will help you to identify the difficulties. As many script writers make beautiful sentence to read. Sometimes it's difficult to speak aloud. So it will help you specifically when you do learnings with medical terms or specific terms. Sometimes even in the grammatical, there are some specific attention to put on a certain part of a sentence. Reading aloud will help you also to fine-tune your character, because you'll feel the rhythm. You feel the pacing of your character taking place during the different rehearsal of your reading aloud. Sometimes it's difficult to feel the rhythm, or to sometimes your brain breaks you to because of the right pronunciation, to be in the right rhythm. You can practice with a really strong accent, and it became more kind of play. It's joyful because you play, you have fun as an actor, you like to practice different characters. So you play with a strong character, and because it's become funny, you pass over the difficulties, and then you get the line, you can follow. And at that point, when you get the text, the meaning of the rhythm, then you can come back to the accent, which you are supposed to practice for this particular character. Now, also in groundwork, the character, we're going to search about what the defining element in the script and the audience. The character is defined in the script, but by what he or she says and who is listening to. What the characters say is depend on its education, its age, its social status. It will bring you different elements to bring your character. As you know, the clients give the indications, many indications about the age, the professions, but it's your job as an actor to build and add more elements. What are the elements in the text that will guide you to create the character? Who's listening to is fundamental too, because it depends of huge importance of how you're gonna explain. If it's question of education, the age, and the work, specifically for e-learnings, you have to have in your mind the audience to be able to interact them. Being aware of who is your audience is fundamental. I encourage you as an actor to, in your daily practice, to master between 4 to 6 different characters. It's in daily practice because you practice those characters during audition, even if it's not for a specific for an audition on your own daily practice. Mastering those characters will help you because you will be able to adapt those characters to the audition you have, and it will enrich your level of acting. So depending if it's a marketing director, worker, professor, teacher, or casual guy.
And Bertrand, I mean, I think you mentioned the idea of monologues. Would you also say that it's a good idea for voiceover actors to try to memorize monologues
One of my master, Tom Todroff, was a huge acting director in New York. He said one day that every actor is supposed to master between 4 to 6 monologues, because this is the way they can increase and grow their skills. And that's something that's very interesting, because by knowing different monologues, you're able to play in different situations by different interpretation. And as you know, as voiceover, you are asking to be able to interpret many characters. So knowing those monologues and those characters will help you in every situations in studios. As we say, workers, agents, students, consumers, they will define the tone and the intelligence of the character. You don't have to be too high or too low, depending on your audience. You have to be able to adapt the pacing and create a character that will fit. Now we jump in a studio in the recording session. This is a part I really enjoy. We start by the pacing, and the tool we're going to use is handwork and work the script in section. Handwork is a technique I developed because, as you know, in the booth you don't have many places, so the body work is a little bit limited. So you can use as many as your body can brings you. So using your hand will help you with the rhythm, will help you with the tone, will help to add the precision. You can use your hand as surgery tools. You can add precision. You can point and exactly specification, especially e-learning, medical e-learning. You need to be very precise on one thing. And sometimes the text is too packed with many information, and using the hand will help you to identify it and bring clarity, keep the inflection, and overcome the obstacles. Work in section, as I said, introduction, conclusions are different. So in studio, for me, it's where we split the text and we work the text in a different part, and then at the end we will melt those parts together. So don't be shy to say, okay, I'm gonna work, I'm gonna start on that part, and then we're gonna go through that, and at the end, when you are totally warm, you do the tag. And sometimes the introduction are specifically the introduction. I like to pad the introduction, to start on the first chapter or second chapter, and in the middle we do the introduction, because jumping in a text is difficult, and you have to be in the flow of the text to be able to deliver a nice and clean introduction, which is fundamental, because this is where you hook the audience. The attack sentence, I have an example for you, because this is another tool I use often in studio. In e-learning, it's useful too, but in commercial, it's fundamental too. When we start a text, sometimes there is a pitch in the beginning. So you can just dim down all the attack, or you can use, especially in long-term script, long-term, like an e-learning with 4,000, 8,000 words. You can use a short sentence just in the beginning to help you to have more fluidity when you attack your word. You, at the editing, you take that out, it's easy, and you will not have to load them. I have an example for you. If you are, you will see two different same sentence without attack sentence in the beginning, and then with the little attack sentence.
Okay.
At the American Society, we exist to end cancer as we know it, for everyone.
So as you notice in the beginning, there is an
at the American
with jump.
Right.
And when you add a little sentence like this one.
Welcome to our hospital. At the American Cancer Society, we exist.
It helps you to,
yes,
it break the ice. And so because you start, the voice is here, and then you can just keep playing with your voice. So it's something that helps a lot, and it will help you with the editing too, because you don't have to say, okay, it's too loud in the beginning. And when you are too loud in the beginning, you go down with your voice most of the time. So it helps you to have nice tone and a regular delivery. Working section also helps you to save energy and to keep the focus. Don't try to start from the beginning and to go directly to the bottom. You can just make a first read, even in the booth. You're allowed even live session to say, okay, I take just 10, 20 seconds just to make a read before recording the voice. It will help you for specifically the difficulties in the text, and working session help you to be focused on the meaning of different parts, sometimes more emotional, more technique. Because of there's editing at the end, you don't have to be perfect and to give a one shot. Take your time. Even in live session, we're here to work together to build a voice. You have most of the time 2 hours. It's a lot. Take your time, breathe, and focus on different parts of the script.
Right.
Now the character acting, and we're going to talk about costumes and what I call slackline. Costumes. A piece of costume brings a huge part of the character. So even if you are in the booths, you're not on the stage, but it's incredible how it changes when you add a little bit of something. It can be the clothes, it can be the shoes, it can be just a tie or a pair of heels. I make a distinction in studio and home studio. And in studio, for sure, you meet clients, so you dress yourself. But eventually, you take something off. If you can, if you have a tie and you play a casual guy, it helps you to get in the shoes of the character. It will help. So, and it's painful. So, enjoy taking some different part and add that to your character. You'll see the difference. So, as we say, indoor wear or character clothing, those elements will not take a lot of time, but it will brings you in the character. Walking a slack line. This is a metaphor I like, because acting for me is to be in that feeling of a slack line. You have to be balanced. Sometimes you have the script just 10 minutes before you're in the booth. So take your time and just feel that focus, because when you are on the slack line, this is the point where you as an actor deliver. You are at the right spot, and everybody around you respect that and encourage that. So if you're stuck in the text, don't rush yourself. Don't try to hit another one. Just, okay, no, I jump. No, take your time. Center yourself. Take a deep breath and jump on the slide back and try to feel that. And as I say, you can start at a low level. I had an example today with an actress. I'm used to work with her. So she made one pass and I said, can you put your other foot on the slack line? Because it was a thing that you have a foot on the slack line and on the side just to secure yourself on the side. Start at the low level, get confidence, and then you can level up to reach the level you were looking for at the beginning. As I say, time is yours. Don't rush yourself. Now, editing. Editing is, for me, as important as the recording, because this is where the script comes to life. This is a part of the final touch. You're going to work and bring the rhythm of the delivery, and you're going to be able to work in the silence. The rhythm and the delivery. As I said, when you are recording, you work on different part of the text, and then at the editing, when you do that on your own studio, this is your job, your responsibility to bring those together and to reach what you were targeting. For the beginners, something I noticed that helps a lot, especially if you work on audio for Adobe, thing like that. you have on the bottom of the wave those color orange and black. Man, it will help with the, the mouth sound, the mouth sound, the little click you hear sometimes.
Right.
So at the end of the sentence, you can hear that. And this is the first natural pacing to bring the next sentence. I don't know why, I don't know how, but in the beginning, this was my reference. You hear this just little sound at the end of a sentence, and it's like the signal to bring, okay, this is where you had the other one, because you can have the beautifulest voice. If your editing is a mess, it's difficult to understand, and the meaning of the text will be distracted.
Right.
So it takes your time to learn and to hear. And as I said, specifically for the beginners, this is where your job is not to judge yourself. You're in the editor suit, you have the voice, you have the record first, and then this is your job to build this voice to make it sound incredible.
Right.
For that, going back to the rhythm and the delivery, it will depend also depend on the audience and the character. If you have someone who speaks very fast, depending on the audience, if it's learning about yoga or meditations, you have to be able to let those silence and important things get some, what we say on sets, some room tone.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let pure silence. We're going to work, I will talk about science after, but don't let pure silence, specifically in the e-learning about yoga or meditation. You have to have the neutral room tone of your studio, and it will just give enough spirits of those silence. So mastering the rhythm of the delivery will increase the characteristic of your character. It will also boost the inflection depending on the space you let between those sentences. And a different rhythm will catch the attention. So you have to practice yourself. Even if it's not a real audition, you work, if you have a home studio, this is in your daily practice. Make some work on different auditions and try to edit in different way, just to feel it, to see how you can serve yourself, because be able to make a good editing, put your work in value. And the silence, there is different approach of the silence. Breathing with or without, because breathing keep the audience in the action when it's we talk about emotion. If you do, I don't know, a commercial about a doctor with borders, you have to feel the implications. And if you go without breathing, it can be 10 or 15 seconds. You have no time for breathing. But if you do 400 words without breathing, it sounds for me like, too technical.
Right.
Specifically during the e-learning, there is a rhythm that the audience came to your own rhythm. If you don't breathe at one point, they cannot listen to you. They wait you to give them the rhythm to where they're supposed to breathe, to keep the attention. So this is an important point. But you can work, as we see on the third point, you can dim sometimes the breath. It will help you. Deep silence is also, as we talked just before, for the rhythm and the delivery. Deep silence has two effects. The first one, it will help you to bring small words with same times, because switching a regular silence with the breathing to deep silence, it capture the attention, but if it's too long, it's become an eternity. So you have to cut in a third of the regular breath if you switch that to deep silence. It will also increase the perception of the intelligence of your character. And this is very interesting, because when you make a point and you want to have the attention, if the silence is deep just before the information you give, then the information, when it arrives, just So this is interesting to play with that too, to be able to be able to master it. And deep down breath, something I used when I want to keep some emotions, but I don't want to feel the text during the recording, feel the pause, and so I check the regular. I edit in a regular way, and then I select the breath, and I dim 4 dB down, and I kept just half in the middle of the breath. That it will just give just a little bit of breath, like kind of an impulsion that capture the attention, but which is not a breath. But for recording, as you know, you need to master your breathing to be able to do a long shot without adding to be able to deliver a complete sentence. But those techniques helps to be able to control and to give a natural flow, which is very interesting depending on the product you're working on.
Voices.